matters. I just want to get right to it. And let me see, are we on the right microphone? But welcome back, everyone. We're here. I totally blew my. I wanted to get back to some of my GI Joe work earlier. I didn't quite make it there just because I have somewhat of an impromptu bro little vacation, a little bit of an extended vacation coming up, and it's today. So I'm getting picked up later, and it just kind of interrupts my whole weekend, and upsets the missus along the way too, because we kind of like to spend our weekends together. But hey, in the meantime, welcome to it. We're drawing Avengers. We're trying to make our way through a George Perez 30th anniversary poster, which is this, and learn about some guys. Because previously, if you guys are keeping track of these episodes, uh, I would have sworn to my life that the Captain Marvel right here was featured on the poster. And the wild thing is, the original Captain Marvel is featured on this poster, but not Monica Rambeau, who at the time she was a formidable leader. She was, you can argue, during her run, she was the second greatest leader of the Avengers next to Captain America, and Captain America is just like an obvious fan favorite. So there you go. But I need to touch up this Namor before I do anything. I don't know what happened. Maybe I was smoking meth, something, but I feel like I slept at the wheel on this one. And I don't know why, because I like the proportions. I love the blue. I think parts of this came out really nice. And, sometimes we just got to go back and clean it up, fix it up, make it a little bit more presentable. And that's what drawing, like a part of illustration, a part of drawing is editing. You have to get good with editing yourself, seeing what the possibilities, seeing what the holes are, all of it. You have to be your own editor. You have to be your own teacher. You have to be your own quality control, right? And I know some of you out there too. Yeah, I'm sure some of you guys out there work in quality control. I work with a lot of really smart people day in and day out when it comes to quality control, and they're great crews. There is not a bad one that I deal with. Yeah, welcome to the stream of streams. This is where, I don't know, we just hang out. We draw, we do comics, we talk comics, we get obsessive. We get real obsessive about comics here. And I'm just, even like for this guy here, for Namor, I'm adding a level of detail I have not in many of the previous ones in this entire series. I kind of was on a decent run of going totally like simple, and I was digging it. I was digging the looseness. The looseness did not translate well to Namor, but Namor's difficult because he relatively is, yeah, he's a naked human head. He's not an alien. He doesn't have a mask on. There's no cell when it comes to his aesthetic. He just needs to be well rendered. What we saw with that fantastic John Byrne run in the '90s. That's the Namor I grew up on, and I kind of think we're there already. We just needed some extra, some extra definition. But what a great character Namor is. Just working on this, it makes me, uh, kind of. I thought the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's funny you kind of have to compare things to the movie stuff now. You just have to do it. But like at one time I thought that the Marvel Cinematic Universe they kind of found a couple of good veins to tap into in exploiting kind of how to make Namor a little bit cooler, like to bring him into a new audience, to just a kind of again coming out party, like a reintroduction, all that fun stuff. And I was for it. I thought the Aztec or the Mayan positioning for the character, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a little bit ballsy. Uh, I just thought it was there, and I just think that movie though, like you don't feel his plight. Like you don't think he could attack the surface world, and that's where Namor's saga like really lies. Like Namor, he's an enemy of the people. Like he is the true anti-hero. You're supposed to kind of feel a little bit sorry for him because he doesn't like the garbage in the ocean, so he's got that environmental push. But I don't know. It's that movie though. I'm sure he would be great to draw. Right, like the movie version just would be incredible. So, guys, here we go. Namor. We're already going to say we will be moving on to Vision very soon. For those of you who showed up for Vision, and we're going to go with a thick green background. So let me just define this a little bit. I'm 50-50 if I'm going to do the effect for his gem, the gem in the middle of his head. Because, I kind of grew up without the Vision having a Infinity Stone wedged between his eyes. To me, Vision was kind of in vein of a lot of other Marvel characters that had something similar, like like Adam Warlock. But like that doesn't quite happen. So things change, and then all of a sudden, the meaning of a character shifts just because a movie is popular. And yes, I hate to say it, my AKA patters, but characters have meaning. Characters have intent. They have. There's a correct way to do some of these characters, and there's a bad way to do some of these characters. And I know that's kind of like a weird. To me, it's odd that that's so unpopular. Like just that opinion. It's like, dude, like we know who these characters are. You don't have to trick us. You don't have to tell us that they're anything other than what we've been reading and experiencing, sometimes for decades. I might just do. Maybe we'll do some whiteout effects. But so all of this, so this is green. We're gonna make this green. We're gonna extend the yellow or the red down just a little bit, like to his neck, just to break it up. Otherwise, we have big old green. This guy's gonna be a lot of green. Now the question is, should we go from like a green background or a red background? My original idea was for a red background. So, what can we do for red? Do we have another? Do we have a fresh red? As quickly as I restock these markers, I have to reload them. Isn't that insane? Like we burn through red fast and we burn through Orange Fest. All right, let's just do the red background. Here we go. Yeah, and maybe I'll blast this a little bit with that burgundy, that deep red marker. This one right here that I have. You have to love those streak sounds. You just do. That's science. Back there. When I stream, I have to turn off my phone timeout. Yeah, and I want him to be like red as possible. I mean, let's just go all red. I haven't been ballsy yet. Meaning, I've used kind of the paper, the pressure, but I've shadowed a lot, and I haven't really done one of these where I feel like let the marker talk, let the marker win on this exchange. But the green is so significant for him, and even like on camera. And I went over the one here, jeez. Even though I marked it off, but even on camera, just the way that they minimized the Vision's green, right? Like I don't know how it's almost like a Christmas green. I mean, it works, but it's just like it's fun to see kind of them. Yo, Omer, what's up, bud? Omer, here's a Namor update. I kind of went back and shaded it because I don't know, I was just unhappy. But I love the green. And doesn't the green work for just an underground character? I mean, like a under the ocean character, because it just screams algae to me. It just screams like ocean decay. I added a couple highlights to the eyes of Captain Marvel here, who is not featured on the poster. And now we're working on the MCU, right? Like, how did we introduce Vision? Did we introduce Vision as an MCU character? That's kind of the, like Disney Plus, as seen on Disney Plus and the MCU Vision. That's just hilarious to me. That, he's just like, he's no longer a comic book character. He's the Vision that you've seen on your subscription service. what got lost a lot too, Omar, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the name Division, when it comes to Marvel's copyright claims, he's amongst, I think, Professor X, Angel, Vision. There's one or two that I'm forgetting, but they predate the formation of the Marvel universe, and they kind of come from like a character pool that's pre-Marvel comics. So in a way, which is kind of weird because I always thought someone like Alex Ross would do something with that. Would just do something with the pre-Marvel universe characters. I'll say. I really like this so far. I think it's just again a little bit of chaos. It's just it looks perfectly vision. Just looks uh I don't know. So the red face too. What was it? What's the transformer? Is there one or two skids? Skids, the Corvette transformer, the blue Corvette. Skids has the red face, and I always loved him for that reason. Someone should do a crossover image of the two of them. Yeah. Oh, the Human Torch. Yes, yes, the Human Torch. Like real quick, is that in this timeline? This Marvel year by year? I bet it's not. Let's see. Let's see. Let's because we were just talking about this. Let's see. Introduction. Tom DeFalco. Uh, we start with Marvel Comics, and we go into Human Torch. Submariner. Look at the Submariner reproduction. Wow, this is bad. Why is this so awful? 1940s. Marvel Comics, Mystic Comics, Red Raven. Okay. Human Torch. Captain America, Daring Comics. There's the Destroyers, one of Stan Lee's. I think this was Stan Lee's first creation, the Wizard. Jack Frost. Citizen V. Look at that, Citizen V. Yeah, right. We know him from the original Thunderbolts. Baron Zemo. That's crazy. Miss America. Wow, did I not really? I may have skipped a lot of this. There's things here I feel like I should know. Two Gun Kid. Yeah, and we're kind of like, so they are going through like the 50s. The romance comics. This is really cool stuff. But at the same time, the Black Knight was one of the predates. So there is a wealth of characters. I just feel like someone should do something with all of that. Like, just do it. That would be like the real grand design. Like design that to go into Amazing Fantasy 15. Yeah, and then we're in the Marvel Age, 1962. I think for this, I was really more into like I went through the modern stuff more than anything when I read this. Because a lot of like a lot of the guts of this. But this is a great book. I gotta see if there's more of these. What a wonderful resource. Let's draw. the Vision. He really does, though. He truly looks like a Halloween character. I can't think of any story that treats the Vision a little bit, like with a little bit of that horror edge. And he's also too like I remember, West Coast when he turned white, that kind of being a must read book at one time. Never for a collection, by the way. Like Vision, kind of the evolution of Vision was just a part of reading Marvel history, and which is great, by the way, because something like WandaVision, and people could kind of like, if you guys really want to understand a little bit of my positioning, with this collection, like collecting versus reading content that I put out. A lot of it comes from this hype around WandaVision, where they just had the most ridiculous books go up in value for no reason other than FOMO, and so many of these individuals benefited from it. And and they got attention. They were able to maintain it. There's credit there. Trust me, there is credit to be given there. But at the same time, it's just like, wow, like no one just reads. Not even collectors, like the collecting community, the collecting market. These guys don't even read the comics anymore. And then you get these LARPers that just want to pretend that they read, but they need you to buy, right? Like they need you to really go all in on what they're saying to you. I don't know. There he is. I really want to say, like, I like the minimum aspect of it. Same as with Johnny Storm over here. Yeah, I like it minimum. Who's next? The Ant-Man. Another Hank, right? Another Hank boy. The most easily the most tortured Avenger. It's funny too, because like they gave Hank so much grief just as a character that you can kind of say he's like he had a harder time than a lot of people like to go to the Captain America man out of the time route, but I don't know. I think Captain America had it pretty easy compared to this guy. People want to kind of say that he's, he was bullied and poor boy couldn't join the army. I don't know. Hank Pym is just, and then if you really want to get into it, the ultimate version, which is they got all of that and they just amplified it, to the death of Wanda from who was it? Who ate the Wanda in the Ultimates? Was it the Blob? The Blob ate her. But dude, I love the movie logo for Pim's, and the whole just the way that they were able to crank up and explain the Pym particles and stuff. Uh, Good stuff, just storytelling wise. So I have to look up a little bit of the helmet here. And then we got to decide what color background we're doing. Let's look up the helmet because this one is too blurry. What do we got here? There we go. With helmet. No, that's not the one. Oh, I hate it. That's what comes up. The Pym particles. Yes, yes, the pimp particles. Dude, how crazy is this? Look. This is the corruption I'm talking about. It's just all the movie stuff. It's none of it's the comic. Isn't that upsetting? So you gotta go all the way down to the bottom of the page and we get one. I mean, that's a decent cosplayer, by the way, but that's kind of cool. But holy crap. And his whole helmet, that's cool. So what color background? What color background? We gotta fix the eyes, but I think what we'll do is all right. Grays, blues. Yeah, black them. Yeah, when you doubt. You know what? Yeah, all right. We'll do it. We'll just do it. We'll just do black. The black works though. Just kind. It's really that like that fashion silhouette. Like put everything with a black background and watch it, watch it sell, watch it look cool as hell, which I'm fine with. And we won't go hardcore with this one, meaning we're not going to use that massive Sharpie from earlier. Here's Omar, dude. Check this out. Like as I'm doing this, yeah, I'm like, okay, I have maybe until like 4:30. I still have to pack. I still kind of actually have to do a couple things for work. Have to bring a lot of my freelance work with me. Yeah, which I'll do when like everyone crashes out in the hotel room, and I kind of like become the creature almost like Quasimodo, but and toil into the early hours of Sunday. But like I'm doing this, and I'm kind of sitting down here and talking to you and doing all this stuff, and the entire time I'm thinking, all right, like me, I can work out here, I can do this when I go work out, and like I guess maybe I guilt myself so much, I forgot that I already worked out today. Isn't that crazy? I think I'm going to take it back real quick. I think we need some pops of the true black. But that's kind of where like I kind of do that a lot too with my reading. I put so much pressure on what I'm reading, like I kind of forget that like I'll go back to books sometimes and like not realize I'm restarting a chapter until I'm like a little bit into it because you gotta wait for something to remind you. And I do that. There you go. That's kind of what I wanted. All right, let's do the skin first. Let's do the skin first. No, there you go. Yeah, they get high, giant sharpie. I know this, but this is so, and this is from my father. My father, when he passed away, they gave this to me. He had one of these for some of his stuff. So every time we use it, it's a little bit of him. I'll say, just working on this notebook slash sketchbook, it really makes me kind of just appreciate Marvel history, and makes me feel a little bit bad about being so critical about the modern market. But I don't know, like I cannot help myself. I just there's so much ground has been lost, right? And it's like even me, like like you struggle with this sometimes. Like you struggle with your opinions and your takes. And I don't think it's ridiculous. So I think it's healthy. I think it's a part of human nature. We're going to do some orange here because we want to hit it with the red, and we want some of that red to the red with the orange undertone comes in a little bit differently. So we want to take advantage of that. No, my pops was a he was a painter. He was like a abstract painter. He did not collect comics. He liked Star Trek though. He liked the original Star Trek series. The comic book world and geekdom. Like he was a good father. Like he saw I was interested. He kind of helped me embrace it. But like how I think a lot of fathers now they will if they like. For example, like I just did a Beetlejuice video for tomorrow. That I'm kind of putting out just because how I wanted to do it for Halloween. I missed what two straight Sunday drops, which is crazy because my Sunday drops are supposed to be my rest day drops, and I kind of designed something and got like a good idea for them to where I can still do something on Sunday that doesn't require just a lot of time, research, or editing, where I just kind of show you guys things. Anyway, uh, tomorrow's drop will be about Beetlejuice. And like Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, like very good examples of fathers showing their kids like what they love and kind of making their kids like it. I do believe this because I have friends that that have done it that still do it. My father, he grew up loving Star Trek. He loved only like it was really Star Trek, the original series, by the way. He did watch Next Generation, but didn't care much for Deep Space Nine or Voyager or any of these other things. And he liked Lone Ranger, right? Like he liked what he grew up with, but then he was a adult, so he moved on. And to the point I'm getting at, if we were to like equalize it, okay, I would have grown up thinking the Lone Ranger was the coolest thing on planet Earth. That um, it's a tragedy that the Lone Ranger. I mean, it's tragic in one degree, but like tragic that the Lone Ranger disappeared from culture and people moved on, and the cowboy character is irrelevant, right? Like my if his generation did what this generation does, there would have been absolute outrage with that Johnny Depp movie, but there's not. So there was a clear separation just between liking something and obsessing over something to where you kind of brainwash your children. I think we're in a generation that accepts brainwashing children to where they have to love Star Wars or they have to be into this and that just because like the dad's into it. I do feel like it's an epidemic. I feel like it's a little bit of what's led to the crash, and if you kind of want to say culture war, uh, I believe that. No one talks about that though. Like they phrase it, they spin it to like other means. But to answer your question, Omar, yeah, my father like was not like he wasn't this geek. He wasn't this hey, like you should do this or you should like this. Growing up, we both liked GI Joe because he was like he came in through the military. He spent time in the military, and that part was cool. But then it's just like, all right, like you're in high school now. Like, hey, like you're gonna start working, like what are we doing? And that was like a lot of the attitude. And there was no real like plan of action for me when it comes to what do we do with this? Okay. And they let me find my own way, I'll say. And like some of it even now, like like my mother's still with us. Her and I we've spoken about it. Some of those were good takes and some were bad, and but you raise your kids and you hope that you raise a child that can make the right decisions and good decisions. So that's a little bit of where like my attitude comes from when people are like, oh, follow your dreams and this and that. It's like, really? Why don't we just like find a good job and learn a good skill set and take things from there? Because the day is long and you have a whole life to learn and become an expert. So my father, like he just toiled in art his whole life. And that's that. But seeing him draw when I was younger, just seeing like someone working in a sketch pad and just kind of like just free forming ideas, very impactful because I did like comics. So my grandmother and my parents, like at 7-Eleven, at the local convenience store, they would see comics and just bring them home to me. And I could easily see that, like my father's drawings and his sketchbook equal, like, hey, like comic book artwork kind of comes from a sketchbook type thing. So I saw that it was a production. Like I kind of just saw people could do this. People did this. The comic books were never mystical to me, if that makes any sense. They were always just a thing you could do. There he is. I just think when you draw this era of Hank Pine, Hank Pimp, Hank Pimp, uh, you have to. He has to have a whimsy to him because the fall of the character is so epic. This guy is way more interesting, tragic, uh, more of a story than Tony Stark. If you want a true hot take, there he is. Lone Ranger is the best. Yeah, yeah. I know, dude. I used to watch. We used to watch the TV show. Like I said, there was a movie in the '80s that I kind of remember my father taping off of like cable or HBO at the time, and I think we taped over it eventually. But like it got to the point where like we have to move hard from Lone Ranger, and it's just funny where people kind of act like nowadays, like it's like, hey, you can move on from the Marvel stuff. Like you can move on from Star Wars. You can like society continues. Like we continue, and I think that's a little bit of what we see. We do see a lot of people who cannot let go of something like Star Wars. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. So I think Dynamite here, Omer. I wanted to look into these. That's in the back of this. So this is like pre Omnibuy craze, right? But they're just two hardcovers, volume one, volume two. And I think they're hardcovers, right? They look like that they're hardcovers. To me, like this looked good. This looked like I don't need the Omnibuy, but I don't know if those are more affordable. All right, and speaking of Cassidy, I have to get a couple more things from him. We'll be wrapping up, and I think we're going to go down the rabbit hole of Greg Hildenbrand because there's just stuff from him to show off, and like him kind of coming in with his brother with Boris Vallejo. I really make the point with today's video about the Alex Ross side of all that, and Alex Ross's popularity took away from what those guys were doing because it was so easy for everything to become Alex Ross at that time. We're losing marker here. Yeah, it's true. But look at the things you discover with women. You discover a career, you discover finances, you discover, I don't know, having to buy a house, having to have a place to live, having to be on your own. And it's okay because guess what? Right? The girls are not going to go away. The comic books are not going to go away. And I spent a lot of time away from all of this stuff, Umar. A lot. None of it's going to go away. So why not just focus on how you can level up? How can you get to that next era for yourself? And it's goofy because I think a lot of these people Rather you not do that. And I'd rather speak on the contrary. I'd rather say, you know what, you should do it. You know, it's not that important. It's we all want to see Joker 2 or something. We all want to see Alien Romulus. And it's okay. Move on, move on. I think this is empty now. And this is like, this is a little not skin tone enough. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of put some of this in her other pieces just so it can look like we have highlights. So we have what, Mockingbird here. We're out of skin tone for sure. I think we lost one yellow, one orange, two red this week. Let's give her like a pink background, right, Omer? I think she needs pink. Wow, we really are. No skin tone. Let's just do the pink. Right here. Here you go. And this pink. It's not looking too good here. I kind of wanted to avoid being a little too girly, like a little too cosmopolitan cover for some of these. Because I just wanted it to be a little bit, again, like you do things, it's good to give yourself barriers. You know, like become your own art director. So I kind of wanted to stay away from clear contrast tones, but I don't know. Her with the blonde hair, I don't know. I say you do it. Let's bring some of this pink in for shading too. I like the streakiness. I don't know why. It's so freaking cool looking. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Women require a lot. But guess what though? Uh you're better off if you have those things with or without a woman. I think your chances go up. I think people who don't realize that, Umar, right? Like again, like we can talk life lessons here. We can talk life. Uh, like living. So here's the thing: you can, if you're out, we'll just say like if you're out in the burbs, you're out in the, suburbs. We'll say you're outside of the city for whatever reason. Like own a house. If you live in the city, though, uh, you're most likely not owning. You're going to be renting, but you have to live by yourself, which equally, money wise, is the same. Like it's the same cost. And dude, when I was single, girls would ask if you had a roommate and this and that, and it was a point of conversation, I'll say, and you have to be able to answer that question. The problem with that, though, when it comes to like the dating pool, is I got friends that would just they would lie through their teeth about this stuff and not kind of care and tell stories, and you can kind of see how that lends to the manosphere and kind of like a generation of women that yeah don't really trust men too much. They don't give men the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not saying those girls are justified. I'm just saying this is the reality of it, and it's scary. It definitely is. I'll tell you, guys of mine their dating changed once they moved in single. Once they got a place of their own, different. If they had roommates, different. So Marvel Comics killed her, right? Mockingbird dies, and then she comes back. I think Brian Michael Bendis brought her back because he did anything, and Marvel really didn't like to tell him no. But I forget how she came back and what happened. Right? Did she come back during Avengers Disassembled? I am not 100% on that. We need some black ink to clean some of this up, right? I know that's what anyone watching this is thinking. Yeah, a good comic. I think a good anything though. I think if you're dude, like Breaking Bad from week to week, the anticipation between episodes. Tell me like Lost was a magical, right? No, it's like entertainment can transform you. Like, could you imagine going to an opera and listening and seeing Mozart's like magic flute for the first time? Like, you would just be like, this is like this is the pinnacle of entertainment, right? And yeah, like we kind of live in an age where that's it's orange, that's gone. I think this instant gratification loop that we're in, uh, I think it's bad business. Yeah, I think in the aggregate, most comic books are just okay. They're okay and like down. So if we were to like do a scale, right? I don't want to use. Let's use brown. Like here, right? Like okay, we'll do a little explanation point. So like all the comics are here, and this is like the independents and the first timers, but the mainstream comics are here, and then like very like few, if we say like are good, right? So you'll just get like I don't know. I guess like I should do like a graph, right? Like good. Wait, hold on. Is it this? Like good at the top, okay here, and then it's like comics, right? Or we want okay to be at the top and good here. But either way, I am messing up the graph. But that's a little bit of like what I'm talking about, though, where I think in all of entertainment, anything good is just rare, and things that are great and things that are universally accepted are more rare than that. So I don't know. I think it's easy to get jaded as as a reader. And a lot of fans are protective when, like, at one time, I would say, right, like kind of the old guard, very protective because, they would change a creative team and, like you would know it would take a while for maybe something good to come out of it. And maybe if there was a creative team that you were into, you would want them to stay. And that was that. Like you wanted them to stay because you thought their stories were good. And most likely the next crew was not going to have good stories, not different stories, not good stories. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But we're in an age now where like none of that gets uh, honored or respected because creative teams change so freaking quick. Uh, there's no continuity. Uh, there's like there's so many less ways to upset fans, and that's bad because what they get upset about now, because they no one's invested in the stories. The things people get upset about now have nothing to do with the comics. Like if you really wanted to build a mental model of the current reader and what they care about. These eyes are a little bit too far separated. Here we go. There she is. Okay. Let's do some red lipstick. Let's move on. Who else do we have? We got no one. Maybe we'll call it a day. Let's catch up on some of these chats though. Something that endures, yeah. Yeah. I like are those did you look those up? Are those Lone Ranger books pricey? Yeah, woman equals pain and suffering. Devil Flyer. Yeah, dude. Similar here. Very similar to that, dude. When you were doing that, I was getting into corporate America, Omar. So yeah, I mean, I always kept my eye on books, but yeah, I spent a good time away from all of it. There we go. What's Devil Flyer up to? You just turned 59. Rex, happy birthday, bud. I love it. Your dog, Abby. Rex, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Happy birthday to Rex. Happy birthday. Yeah, yeah. Very true about McFarlane. I think there is something to where um, comic book fans they still people still feel a little bit betrayed by McFarlane not eventually returning uh, to working on Spawn. And if it wasn't for COVID, if it wasn't for the launch of that action figure, Spawn was really, I mean, come on, Spawn was just fading. Like even now, I get it. Like he's had some good artists come through, but what was the last discovery for McFarlane? That was always the difference between Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane. Jim Lee, and even Rob Liefeld, I'll say, uh, Jim Lee, he knows comic book talent. Like Jim Lee knows what an illustrator is, what they're supposed to do. I hate to say, Jim Lee will probably tell you what's supposed to be in their fridge. Like he knows the mindset, he knows the mental model. Rob Liefeld, very similar, right? Like Rob Liefeld, lots of success in mining and discovering talent. That talent, in my view, eclipsed Rob Liefeld even now. Even guys like Fraga and Panosian totally eclipsed Rob Liefeld. If it wasn't for the Deadpool movie, there would be very little Rob Liefeld talk. And when it comes to McFarlane, though, it's hard to say like what he's good at. I mean, I know he's a carnival barker, but what's he good like? What's he good at? And that's a tough one because I think Rob Liefeld with the new observations is kind of talking like, this return, Tom McFarlane, this return to Spider-Man, and it's more of an action figure pitch more than anything, right? Like they're not pitching a story. McFarlane's all digital, so the artwork's not going to be great. Yeah, he did say that. Omer, if you find that quote, can you forward that quote to me? I read the same thing. I referenced a similar quote. I would love to be able to source it though, if you find that. All right, so we got Mockingbird here. We have Hank, Vision, Submariner, the true Captain Marvel, maybe, Giant Man, Human Torch, She-Hulk, Space Hawk, right? Space Hawk, Captain Victory, no, not Captain Victory, Major Victory, Captain Victory, Crystalline, Chrysalis, Charlie 27, Yondo, Wonder Man. I guess they revealed his logo, which looks like it's out of the 70s. Modular Armor, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, The Thing, Machine Man, Hawkeye, Huntsman, Goliath, the Beast, Tigra, Black Knight, Falcon, and Captain America. So that's a little bit where we are. So let me call it, guys, just because I got so much cooking. Omer, please find that quote if you can. I do have what I have here for Alan Moore. I know it's not in my one. So here's the one. This is more of a retrospective. This right here. It's not in here. I know that. I know it's not in here. But that's an interview somewhere. All right, guys, I love you. Rock and roll.